Sunanda, you've been tracking this company quite closely. We've seen quite a bit of changes, and we've been speaking about this consistently. We saw, the elevation of both B.G. Srinivas and Praveen Rao over the past couple of days. Put this in perspective. What have been the changes, and what's the larger game plan?
You know, Harsha, Infosys has always been known for its high-profile founders, and other executives seem to have become, really a victim of those changes. Now, very quickly, 3 changes have been announced. One, of course, is V. Balakrishnan has decided to exit the company as of last month. He, of course, used to be the CFO. He was the chairman of the BPO business. He was also chairman of Lodestone, which is a business that Infosys bought a short while earlier. Now, it's not going to have any operational impact, is what analysts have told us, but the very fact that it's going to have a change as far as sentiment goes will be interesting to watch what clients really have told Infosys as far as Bala's exit is concerned. We'll be watching for commentary on that. The second is the Executive Council, which consisted of 30 senior members of Infosys. That has been disbanded. That will be disbanded starting the 1st of April. It'll be interesting to see again whether we can see any more high-profile exits, and again, what concern clients really are telling Infosys about these exits. And the third is those 2 elevations that you were talking about. One is, B.G. Srinivas, and the second is UB Praveen Rao, both of them being made co-presidents. 75% of the total revenue at Infosys will be controlled by portfolios directly under B.G. Srinivas. And therefore, Infosys is making a clear indication, really, that it's going back to its earlier model of focusing on the bread and butter business of Infosys, saying that, whether it's product and platform, whether it is consulting, those are not really going to be the focus areas for Infosys for a short while. So what are the changes, if any, could Infosys really have to put in place to go back to this earlier model that is focusing at? I think those will be some key things to watch out for tomorrow, Harsha.
Thanks for putting that in perspective, Sunanda. Rumit, when you look at these changes that are taking place in Infosys over the past couple of months, what's the sense that you get? Because when you listen to the management, you get the feeling that this is a process of transition. Do you have any indication of what if this transition is over, or is there more to come?
No, I think clearly we all know that Infosys growth rate over the last couple of years has been below the peer group, and they have lost market share in the traditional business over the last couple of years. But I think that said, you have seen a pickup in growth, and the focus is back on even the traditional businesses. So yes, they are in process of transition, but I think what's going to help them is that on the developed market size, the macro is looking a lot better, and Infosys is still a very large player in the traditional services space. So if you see a demand recovery in that space helped by a macro pickup, then clearly I think it should help Infy navigate this transition period.
I'm just pointing out to a 1-year chart of Infosys as of today. Let's bring up that chart. That's a 50% upside if you just purely look at it from a 1-year standpoint. Rumit, my question to you is, if the business of Infosys has not kept up with peers, we've seen the stock rise nearly 50%. 63% of the street that Bloomberg has spoken to still have a buy call on the stock. Why?
Yeah, see, I think if you look at the numbers over the last couple of quarters, the growth trajectory has improved. So FY13 was a year of below par growth versus the peer group. But if you look at the last at least 2 quarters, the growth has been largely in line. Second is the valuation gap 1 year back with the large peer like TCS was extremely high. So I think to that extent, with a pickup in growth in the last couple of quarters, that valuation gap has narrowed down. But that valuation gap on an absolute basis is still reasonably large. So I think the market is not entirely discounting the transition. There is still some element of cautiousness, and which is where we think that with a demand recovery, the large cap IT should do well, and Infy will definitely benefit from this. They are taking a reasonable amount of pain in terms of some of the exits that have happened. But with demand tailwind, you should see a pickup in earnings. And as things stabilize, you should also see a pickup in valuation for the stock. So clearly from here on, we still see reasonable upside in Infosys earnings. All that said, I think the investors should be aware that this will come with some element of volatility, and it's not going to be a linear story. As with all transitions and turnarounds, it comes with a little bit of volatility.
Sure. What would you like to hear from the management of Infosys tomorrow, Rumit? And if you were to ask them a question, what would that be?
I think there are two key questions right now. One is from a demand standpoint, are they really seeing a recovery on the discretionary side, on their traditional businesses, and is the IT budget looking much better than what it did last year? And the second thing is, I think that's a question on the management, right? What is the kind of structure that they are getting at? I think that is a question that a lot of us have. Yes, they are dismantling some of the old structures, but what is the potential structure they are eventually looking at? I think some clarity on that will definitely help investors understand that how far this transition has come and how far it is still to go.